Hello, House of Massive Reviews here, and well, let's just get on with it. Bit overdue with this review, but now whatever. Let's get on to talking about Agatha House of Harkness. Agatha Covenant of Chaos. Agatha Darkhold Diaries. Or just Agatha. Agatha the Lying Witch and the Great Wardrobe. Oh, Agatha All Along. Yeah, that was pretty stupid. I don't know if that was official, but let me start by saying this: the amount of title changes for this series is just. Ugh. I don't know if this was all just a marketing ploy or something like that from Marvel Studios, but just the fact is, just say the title at the very beginning. All of them, with the exception of just the Lion Witch and the Great Wardrobe, even have enough don't have any connection with either Agatha from WandaVision or the series or this series. Yeah, I got really annoyed with the amount of title changes, and I was like, can you just settle with something? But anyway, here we go. So for the first, this is the first show since the MCU first show released, I think, since the MCU since Marvel Studios changed their format when it came to the television series and for Disney Plus. I mean, not only is it now the logo is different and it's more of a subsidiary to to the film division, but yeah, so we get a spin-off to WandaVision, and just heads up, I enjoyed WandaVision, I really did. The exception of the final episode, I thought was a really good series. And it was clear to see just how much of a scene stealer Agatha Harkness was. Catherine Hahn as Agatha Harkness, and yeah, she not just due to the song, which is where the title of the show came from, but yeah, it really shows. Um, but yeah, I was skeptical about doing a spin-off. I mean, yes, the ending sort of did, and the ending to both the show and Wanda's the Scarlet Witch's fate at the end of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness definitely led to possibilities, but whether or not you could do it, but with the amount, with how the quality of the other shows have fared, it was gonna be always tough. I mean, especially when it came to, I mean, let's be fair, most of the female-led projects of the MCU, and uh, fem- I'm not trying to rub people the wrong way, but when you look at it, I mean, She-Hulk was not rated strong. Neither was the Marvels. Echo, I don't think was really anything grand. I mean, that was the first spin-off of a previous spin-off series for an MCU show, but yeah, I was cautiously optimistic. Um, and you know what? People are saying this is good. And yeah, I say it's good. Nothing, nothing grand, but it's well, uh, better than Echo. And She-Hulk. Maybe I think it's better than Miss Marvel in my eyes. Maybe it could be better than WandaVision. I don't know. I'll go over it. Let's just get on with the plot. So we actually begin off very similar structure. The first episode is very similar to what WandaVision was like, but in homage of, modern day detective series as Agatha Harkness after she was left trapped in a spell by Wanda at the end of WandaVision is is living in a fantasy life as Agnes, her character in WandaVision, and is a police detective. How and it seems like she's not going to escape her spell, and it's kind of fun, and which is sort of strange because I thought that once Wanda killed herself at the end of Multiverse of Madness, it she would automatically be released from the spell, but you never, yeah, it's hard to tell. But anyway, she is eventually free from her spell, not only after apparently seeing Wanda's dead body. I don't know if it was, I don't quite know for sure. Along with along with her spell being uh, spell ceasing to being being cancelled by a young magician by a mysterious young teen played by Joe Locke, and and a and another witch who apparently has a connection with Agatha. That being her name being her name being Rio. And yeah, Agatha. It turns out Rio wants to kill Agatha for apparent reasons in the past, as we found out they're ex-lovers, and another reason which yeah, we'll get to the identity later. Yeah, but Agatha convinces her to let her return to regain her full power before they have their final battle. And this teen convinces Agatha to take him on the that they should go that along with that the two of them along with should go on a quest to find to along the Witch's Road, which apparently at the end will will grant the witches who complete the task their greatest desire. But they need a coven, and Agatha summons a coven of three other witches who have she has apparently screwed over in the past and want to reclaim their titles, I should say, and surprisingly Sharon Davis, aka Mrs. Hart in WandaVision, to go on the witches to summon the witch's road to act for surprise. It actually materializes even though it's never happened before when she's had covens in the past apparently. The group of six, and eventually, spoiler alert, Rio, travel along the road and complete various tasks, themed after each specific member of the coven, and in order to complete the task, to be the one to complete the task, or with their outfits mysteriously changing and a bunch of other things. Yeah, and all the while Agatha's trying to figure out, all the while they're all getting to know each other. Agatha's slightly becoming more trustworthy as we learn a bit more about past, and we try to learn more about the teen who apparently Agatha develops sort of figure out who it is, but sort of reminds her of a deceased son. And let's just get on with it. My next, other than the amount of title changes, the other big problem I have is let's just get over it. I can't just scoop around a bit. uh, Keep going over this. They confirmed that Joe early before I would say maybe June or July this year. I think they confirmed a bit that Joe Locke's character was William Kaplan, aka Billy Maximoff, aka Wiccan, and everyone knew. And and as I said, they confirmed it earlier. It was it was unknown if this would be another version of Wiccan from from another universe, much like how we saw in Multiverse of Madness. But um, it's just everyone knew who it was. The question was how it was he was brought back. And the reason of how he's brought back is interesting. Where apparently even after Wanda ceased the hex at the end of WandaVision, apparently a young deceased teenager, that being William Kaplan, a teenage boy, William Kaplan, aka William Kaplan, was got into a car accident, dies just as the hex is ceases to exist, and somehow Billy Maximoff's 10-year-old soul inhabits this I think 15 or 16-year-old boy, even though it's not he should never know how to do it, and he's just an illusion, a magical creation. I just find it so strange. And I mean, yes, he did show powers in the climax, his magical powers in WandaVision, but seriously, it couldn't be done. And surely Wanda could have picked it up that, I mean, yes, for a while, Billy apparently sticks in his newfound body and accepts his new family and lives his life as their as their son, even though he's now officially deceased. But surely Wanda would have picked up in Multiverse of Madness that maybe Billy was actually alive. I just find that strange. Yeah, and even then, I mean, sounds like even then, I think Billy's actually pretty accepting that, he doesn't quite know if Wanda's actually dead, which of course she actually is in Earth 616. Um, but well, because Multiverse of Madness, but just the fact that that his main goal is to try and try and find, try and at the end of the road to revive Tommy. And yeah, and the fact is, I mean, okay, he wouldn't know really about Vision's fate at the end of WandaVision. So yeah, his goal is to find Tommy, to bring Tommy back. And well, I don't know about that. It's really difficult. Um, I guess, but to be fair, Locke's probably the best actor in this. Well, Locke and Han. I mean, every actor in this does a really good job. I got to give so much credit to all the performances. Well, and the actors for doing well, and for their performances. Well, all the actors for their performance in this, they all do a really good job. And the production value for each of the sets are really great and amazing. The costume design is great. How they each of the costumes in each of these tasks are really good. And this the song "Down the Witch's Road" is catchy. And I mean, I like learning a bit more about Agatha's past, including about her deceased son. And yeah, and apparently that's how she develops a bond with Billy in this. Like, okay, all right, but with that said, you do have a few questions with the ending, and I guess the other big thing is the fact that there's not really, in terms of the big reveals in this. I mean, I already mentioned how they just tried to the whole Billy Maximal situation, but the other major surprise, well, is that Rio is actually Mistress Death. And at first, I was impressed. I thought I was quite surprised that they went this route. I mean, yes, we know death exists in this universe. I mean, the cosmic entities are referenced multiple times, and the guy was shown in artworks of Guardians of the Galaxy that Eternity was in Thor: Love and Thunder. Um, and I guess they did establish technically that she exists thanks to the post-credit scene of the Avengers with Thanos. Though I don't know if I was meant to, if William just threw it in there out of for necessity, though. I don't know what goes on. What I was thinking, but yeah. With that said, I was thinking, well, if Death actually is in this, well, I mean, look, I appreciate the um the Russos, Christopher Marcus and Steve McFeely for changing Thanos' goals at the end for Infinity War and Endgame and why he was after the Infinity Stones. But the fact that Death actually does exist, um, and we see her in this, just kind of makes me feel like, you know, did you really need to? And there was no need for it to appear, and how they worked her out. Yes, I know she has had other relationships in the comics. I mean, the whole Deadpool situation, her whole relationship with Deadpool is one story I probably could go over. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan Reynolds decides to go that route at some point. And maybe if Deadpool 4 ever happens. But uh, yeah, it's just I just find that a bit strange, and the fact that she spares Agatha's son when he's about to be born, but takes her away from him when he's 6. I just all right, fine. And even then, I mean, there are some question marks I have with the ending. Like you know, in particular Agatha's fear. I mean, she Agatha saves after apparently being convinced not to turn himself over to death, turn him over to death by Wiccan's mind powers. Agatha gives herself away to death and dies. Um, and but her soul remains to offer advice as a spirit guide to to Billy. I'm like, all right. Um, but like, the fact is, then when he's trying to banish her spirit, she convinces him to stop because she's afraid of facing her son in the afterlife after killing all the witches for scamming him with uh the witches' battle, which it turns out the witches' right doesn't actually exist, was created by Wiccan unintentionally, which okay is pretty cool, but all right, take it as it is. But the fact that Agatha doesn't want to face her son for apparently killing all those witches after he was killed. Well, keep in mind, she was killing witches even before her son died. I'm just surely he wouldn't have mind. It wouldn't have been that bad. It just sounds just so. Ugh. Look, I know she escalated and went out of control, but apparently, but I don't know. I think he would have the child would have accepted it. I mean, I'm sure Mistress Death would have probably Rio, well, Mistress Steph, honestly, just would have probably explained a bit more of the situation. And then there's the fact that at the end, I mean, they, well, after Billy decides to keep Agatha Spear as a guide to him, they head off to find Tommy, who apparently um, has found a new body after Bill, thanks to Billy finding him a new vessel at the end after complete as his reward for completing the road. But honestly, I thought he kind of stopped that after he realized he was given that the cat he thought he was killing the boy just to find his soul, and I thought he stopped before he could before Tommy was brought uh, entered the body. I thought I didn't think he actually. I thought he stopped giving Tommy a new body after he realized what he was doing, but it sounds like he actually allowed it. I don't know. It's just so confusing. I know it sounds like I'm overanalyzing the ending, but there's just so many things I don't quite understand. I mean, I'm sure they're going to get elaborate on the future, but yeah, I just feel like they were going one way, but it sounds like they're going another, and just I don't know. Just some things just don't seem right to me about this. I guess the only thing I should mention is everyone's giving a lot of praise to episode 7 of this, which was which was the episode where they revealed Rio was deaf, and just how the story behind it, and the member of the coven who completed her, and how her story ended was handled pretty well. And I was like, "Nah, I thought the episode was okay. I mean, I can see why people really do enjoy it, but I don't know. I'm personally not overly excited about it. But in the end, I will give credit. Agatha All Along is a good show. I don't think it's anything special, but for what it is, I thought it was all right. You know, and I mean, considering how some of the other shows have, you know, I do think it's, if you liked WandaVision, you probably will enjoy it. And I mean, we are getting Vision Quest at some point, but yeah, for what it is, I give it a 7 out of 10 half stars. I don't think it's anything grand, but what it is, I don't mind. Well, I guess I'll see you for my next video, which hopefully won't be too long for wait. In the meantime, have some France users out, and I shall see you next time. Ciao.